Hey gamers, James here, Games of James. I'm James, you're you. Now that introductions are over, let's get to the games. Today we are talking about Vaults of Varn. It is a great far future post-apocalyptic sci-fi fantasy game that is rules-lite, built off of the backs of a few different systems. It is one of the games that I think is really great, and I'm going to have to go into some backstory as to why. But before I do that, this is the deluxe edition. I purchased the hardcover book. I got it from Exalted Funeral for $36. I got this oddly textured on the covers blue book and a PDF and a character sheet, electronic character sheet. Vaults of Varn is, unfortunately, the deluxe edition is sold out everywhere. But the zines from which it has been culled and collected and made is still available on itch. You can also buy physical copies from various websites. So if you go on the itch page for Vaults of Varn, you can find the zines for physical to purchase physically. And on the Vaults of Varn website, there's also an SRD that gives you all the rules. It also gives you some content that didn't make it into the deluxe edition, such as rules for alchemy and rules that to let you play as a different character backgrounds. So, Vaults of Varn, done by a gentleman named Leo Hunt. No idea who he is. Don't know if he's done any other work. I am not sponsored by anyone. I purchased this with my own money. It's not a review copy or a comp copy. This is totally independent. I do not represent any websites. I only represent the Grand People's Republic of James, the Duchy of Jim, and the provinces contained therein. So, one thing I need to warn you about. If you are have a hard time perceiving the color blue, this book may not be for you. You may want to use the SRD available on the website because this is blue ink on a white background. And for some people may have a hard time seeing that. But right off the bat, take a look at the game. We got some great artwork. This trippy acid sci-fi artwork. This game takes place in a very, very far future. And of course, we've seen this before. We've seen Rifts. We've seen other games like it. It's rules-lite, but I'm going to tell you what really sets this apart. So, right now, people will tell you we're in the midst of a golden age of the OSR revolution, revival, rules, whatever that R stands for you. People say we're in the midst of it. I disagree. I think we're in a revolution of content creators and the public. So, people have been playing rules-lite games for as long as I can remember. But I think now people have the ability to create games and put them out there, to market them to the masses so that people can have a taste of their creativity. This has unleashed untold possibilities, right? So we get a lot of people that are putting out content, and it's really great. The content is top-notch most of the time. There is a downside to that. A lot of times we get, kind of like shovelware or vaporware. People just churning out content hoping that something sticks. If you go to any of these independent role-playing websites, there's just a lot of stuff that's just not worth your time. I've noticed that some books will give you great rules, but the setting has a lot to be desired. Others, it's the opposite. They give you a lot of detail on a setting, and the rules are to be desired. Or that, the setting, so it's just this lopsided, it's either setting or rules. Vaults of Varn is both. You get a solid set of rules and a great game setting, right? So take a look at the acknowledgments for the role-playing games that inspired this. The usual, the usual suspects are here. Into the Odd, Troika, White Hack. The rule system is not anything super inventive. Leo Hunt, who is the creator, is not going to win any awards for this. It's basically Knave. And it's okay because it does the job, right? You roll 3d6, you take the lowest of that roll, and you add 10 for your defense, and then 2 is your ability bonus. So again, you're not really going to, this is not revolutionary, but what makes this great is that it's a very solid rule system combined with a very solid game setting. And again, I go through a lot of products and I look at it and I always see that it seems like it's lacking one or the other. This doesn't, right? So you go through, the rules are very quick. Each character starts off with a mystic gift. Mystic gifts are great because they're kind of, they give you a flavor description of what it does, but they don't really give you hard and fast rules as to what it does. It's up for the game master or the referee and the player to decide what it does and what impact it has on the game. They're not devastatingly unbalancing. They're just cool things that your character can do. And the way that you get more is that you have to seek it out. And there's a bunch of different ways you can get it. They tell you can take a psychedelic drug and go tripping out in the desert. You can go and learn from a master, etc., etc. Then we also have Exotica. Exotica are devices that your characters can find. And they also do cool things. They're technology, they're mystical, anything in between. They are, something that gives flavor in this far future post-apocalyptic. It could be tech that we cannot fathom, but these characters have it. The only problem I have with the Exotica is that way the advancement works in this game, you have to turn in and find a piece of Exotica in order to advance, which I don't like. That's one thing of the rule system that I would change. I would change it to one of those, all right, you've completed X, Y, Z. We're going to go ahead and let your character advance. The advancement isn't difficult, but, it is what it is. So, what is the Vaults of Varn? What is this great setting that I keep going on and on about? Well, this is, like I said, a far future post-apocalyptic. We assume that it's the planet Earth. But the sun is dying. It is a red star that is orbiting this planet. It's about to go out. They say not in a human's lifetime, but any robotic or synthetic character might have to worry. Everything is blue. There's no way to, there's nothing around it. The sands are blue. Everything is a kaleidoscope of blue. I don't know why the sands are blue, but they're blue. But it's a desert, so you see here the economy is based off of water. We've seen that before in other desert games. Nothing, again, so, mind-blowing, but it works for this system, right? You see some combat, the damage. Again, you're not really learning. You're not really, seeing anything revolutionary here. I do love this post-apocalyptic future tribal BoJack Horseman and the cracked out Rambo. But character creation is quick. It gives you very straightforward rules on how to do it. There's no character classes, but there is backgrounds. So we have Truekin, which are unmutated, unaugmented humans. We have synths, which are robots, self-replicating robots. They do all sorts of stuff. Each background gives you some minor, advantage. None of it, again, it's not unbalancing, but it is, great flavor. It adds to the campaign world. all of these charts you see are just ways to randomly generate your character. We have new beasts, which are humanoid animals that were created in the far past for some unknown purpose, but now they live in societies. You know, I think here's one background that is actually pretty amazing. The mycomorphs, these are fungus people that grew on the bodies of humanoids, so they have the vague memories of the person that they grew out of. I think that's actually pretty cool. And then finally we have the Kakogen, which are mutated humans, some more severely than others. The mutations are not game-breaking either. They're nothing that is going to make something more powerful or more weak. Again, it's up to you to decide how it's going to come into play. But, you can leave it up to the charts, or you can work with your referee to make something cool. So we see the Mystic Gifts. The artwork here, varies between, what I would see in a high school student's notebook to some really like high quality, serious art. All of it works for the game. Let's go back. So we have cybernetics. If you don't want your character have a mystic gift, they can have cybernetics. Here's some more exotica. Equipment, nothing too particular. Here is the referee rules, the game master rules. But one thing I actually do really like too is that they give you a pretty extensive bestiary, things for the characters to encounter. If you go on to the Vaults of Vaarn website and you look at the bestiary there, they have even more creatures on there. And again, the artwork kind of varies. Like you have this kind of like, middle school scribbling, high school scribblings to more serious artwork. And again, it all works. Some of these creatures are truly, truly disturbing, but, is what it is, right? So, it is a great, great purchase. Like, I think you get a total package here. I think you get a good rules system and you get a good setting. Now, the great thing too is that the setting is purposely kept vague, but still detailed, right? So the author gives you a nation. There's this homogeny that is like the true kin humans. They're the closest thing that you can get to a world power or a local power, but they're not even all that strong. They also give you a city that is pre-generated, and it's a known city. But everything else is entirely left up to the players and to the game master. And he gives you charts on what you're encountering, how to build your particular Vaults of Vaarn. So, they tell you each campaign should be unique, and that's great. I love that. It gives you structure, but freedom. Another thing I think which makes this a really complete game is also the travel procedures. He gets into the nitty-gritty about travel, different vehicles. Because it lends to the thing that this is an actual game setting, that it is lived in, that there are people that are doing things in this world, while at the same time not constraining you. The weather, worm pollen. Yeah, that sounds really horrible to get caught on. Random NPCs, if you're a lazy game master and you want to make some NPCs. But I cannot recommend this game enough, because it gives you enough information to build a very lived in, a very functional world. You don't see that in a lot of games. I'm sorry, it might be just the games that I am looking up lately. My next video is going to be about a game that I purchased that is very good on the setting details, but the rules are just not great. They're just not there. So, to leave this video, definitely check this game out. Use the SRD until they reprint this deluxe edition, or go out and buy the zines if that's your thing. I definitely look forward to delving deeper in this with my players. It is a really, really great game. I know I've said that a few times. Two things that I detract is that, one, some of the artwork is kind of like not there, but it's okay. The other thing is the advancement system. I don't like the idea of giving away interesting and, useful items just to advance your character. I would change that system. If you go on the Vaults of Varn website, they talk about why they used that system. I still don't agree with it. Other than that, I'm going to tell you this is probably, a 9.9 out of 10. I am particularly picky about what games I like to talk about and what games I like to bring to my game table. It is, and this is one of them. The last few pages that I click through are different, like, random settlement, generation tables or, camp tables. But again, I got this from Exalted Funeral. Unfortunately, it seems that the deluxe edition are sold out everywhere. So either get the zines, use the SRD, and purchase this when it comes out. So until next time, gamers, go forth and be awesome. And I'll see you later.